Hello my friends, today I have an iPhone 5s. The problem is the screen, so this tutorial will be for a quick replacement of the screen. So to replace the screen on this phone we need these tools. We need a pentalobe screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, IC Samo, tweezers, and of course we need a new LCD. First thing we need to do, we're gonna take the two screws in the bottom here using the pentalobe screwdriver. Okay, so the second thing, I will use the IC Samo. I will insert it here between the frame and the glass like this, and I will flip it back this way, and I will make more. I will insert it a little bit more like this, and I will wiggle to the right and from this side also, and put the IC Samo aside. And now we have the screen opened from this part. So, and we need to be very careful. We have a small cable here. You see this cable? This cable is for the home button. If you cut off this cable, if you set up the home button fingerprint, is not gonna work, even if you put the new home button. Sometimes it's fixed with the update, but sometimes not. So what I'm gonna do now, we have like small bracket here, it's holding the cable, so I'm just gonna use these sharp tweezers, and they will insert it exactly underneath and lift it up gently. Okay, so I will put this thing aside, and now we have the cable. That this small bracket here was on top of the cable. So now I'm gonna disconnect the cable. I'm using the same thing. If you see the cable here, so what I'm gonna do, I will just use these tweezers just from the edge, not pushing all the way in, just a little bit from the edge, and lift it up. It's easy. Now the cable is disconnected. I can flip this screen back like this. We have a bracket here. This bracket has 4 screws, one here, one here, here. We're gonna take these screws off using the pentalobe screwdriver. I mean using the Phillips screwdriver, I'm sorry. So we have one screw here, one which is in this side. Let me zoom on it first. So this screw here is not magnetized, as you see. It's not like sticking to the screwdriver. Sometimes it sticks just because it still has some magnet on it. Anyway, so this screw is not magnetized. The rest of the screws are magnetized. Take this one off. As you see, I put the screws here organized. Let me just show you. See the screws, they are like organized. So I'm gonna take this bracket off from here and put it next to the screws and keep them organized like that. Make sure don't mix the screws, because if you do so, you may mess up the motherboard. So now we have like the screen cables here. Let me zoom on it again. So we have a lot of 3 cables here. So I'm just gonna disconnect them using my nails. This is the first one, first cable, and the second one, and the third cable is disconnected. So we disconnect the screen. We have one more cable here. This cable here is for the power button, so don't touch this one. All right, so what I'm gonna do now, I will put this aside, and we're gonna do all the work on this screen here. So what I'm gonna do, I have the new screen right here. So I will transfer all the components on this screen from here to here. But before I do that, I will test this screen and make sure it's working. How to test it? I will just connect these cables here to the motherboard and turn the phone on and see if it's working or not. When you are connecting these cables here, make sure they are matching 100%. Do not like just keep pushing, you might damage the FPC where the cables are connected. Make sure they are 100% matching before you push on the top. So the cables are connected now. What I'm going to do now, I will turn on the phone. Okay, as you see, the phone is working, so the screen is responding normal. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I will turn the light off and disconnect these cables, and I will start transferring the components from here to here. We have the home button here. We're gonna disconnect this home button first. So the home button has, like, let's say it has 2 screws plus another screw here which is holding this cable. So I will start with this screw here, and always this screw usually it stays here. It's not going, you cannot take it off. You can take it off, but just if it stays there, leave it there, it's better. And flip this cable this way, and you have the 2 screws here. This is one, and the second one is here. Remember, this bracket has a curved side from here. You see the curved side? This is in the bottom, as you see, and we have like small hole here. This on the right side, if you are holding the screen this way. So remember to put this correctly, because you can put it this way and put the screws and it may give you like some problems. So make sure you put it this way, or you don't, make sure don't push it this way. So put it back as it was. Alright, so we have here small hole here, square one, and we have the curved side in the bottom. So this one on the right and the curved side in the bottom. Alright, so let's go ahead. So now what I'm going to do, I will, this cable here, it's glued to the frame here. I'm sorry, let me zoom it back a little bit. So this cable here is glued to the frame here. So what I'm going to do, I will just insert this one gently underneath and lift it up without messing it up. Okay, so once I disconnect this cable, I will just push from the bottom here. I will push from the bottom, push the home button outside, and take it off. Alright, so this is the home button. So what I'm going to do, I will clean all the, sometimes the home button, if the screen is cracked, the home button has some pieces of glass here, so make sure to clean it very well. So now I put the home button where it's supposed to be. Okay, the second thing I will do, I will take the speaker off, the earpiece. So the earpiece has a bracket on top of it, and it has 2 screws here. This is the first screw, and this is the second. One of them is longer than the other one. I put them together here, and I will take this bracket, has like a hook in this side. This hook is like holding, it's like this holding in the bottom. So what I'm gonna do, I will like slide the hook in the back and lift it up, as you see here. Let me zoom on this. So the hook is this one. I will just use these tweezers and try to insert it between the hook and the frame, as you see. So lift up this, put it here next to the screws, and this is the earpiece. So I put the earpiece next to its so what left here, we have the proximity sensor and front facing camera cable. I'm just gonna take it, use the tweezers and insert it underneath, and just like I'm sliding it, like I'm cutting something, as you see, making some room. I'm not like just poking like this, because if you poke that cable you may damage some connection to these golden points here. So make sure just you insert this sharp thing underneath, and you slide it, like you keep like sliding it like this, like you are cutting something. Actually you are cutting the adhesive which is holding it in the bottom. So once you are sure like it's released like this, you can lift it up gently. Don't use any force, because we still have here the proximity sensor, and we have the microphone, and we have another component here for the proximity sensor. This is another cable which is folded this back. So when you lift it up, make sure don't use any force, just gently till you lift it up. So now we have here this bracket, this metal shield has like 5 screws, 2 in this side and 2 in this side, and 1 on the top here. So what I'm going to do, I will take all these screws off, starting with these ones here inside. So these screws are the same, these 2, you don't have to worry about mixing them up. And we have 2 more here. This is 1, and this is the second, basically the 4th screw. So as you see, I put them here together. So we have 1 more screw here, this is different, and this will be the first one I transfer back to the new screen. So once I took that screw off, what I'm going to do, I will just lift up gently this bracket. Okay, so this one we don't need it anymore, we put it aside. We may need something from it, but let's take this one first. So now I will just take this plastic and I will put the screen here. All right, so the last screw is still here on the tip of the screwdriver. So I'm just gonna put it back here. I don't want to mix it with the other screws. All right, so it's here. So the second thing I'm gonna do, I will put these 4 screws back, and it's better if you put these screws organized. I just put every part with its screws next to it. But if you can like draw like something like this, and you put the screws and the parts where it is supposed to be. If you think you can remember, just do the same way I'm doing now. Even though I have good experience, I try to keep the screws together and organized, because it's easier for me to put them back to the new part. Alright, so I put the 4 screws now. So what I'm going to do now, I will put the home button right here. Make sure you put it correctly, don't flip it to the wrong side. See, like this. And I will take this bracket as I put it here, and I will put it on its place. And now I put the screws. Make sure don't mix up the screws, because if you put the wrong screw in the wrong spot, you may damage something. If the screw doesn't fit in its place, in its hole, just try to unscrew it and rescrew it back if you are sure the screw is for that specific spot. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, I still need to put this screw back, as you see here. You remember the last screw I took off, I mean the first screw, this one. You see there's like a prong here, so make sure you put it back as it was before. So what I'm gonna do now, I will, as I said, we have this gasket here. Sometimes the new screen comes with this gasket. This gasket is responsible to keep the camera, the front-facing camera, centered with the lens. You see the lens here. I close it now. It's open, the lens. So this gasket keeps the camera, the front-facing camera, centered in the middle. I put this one, and we have another gasket here, which comes off with the front-facing camera flex cable. It's on the proximity sensor, so this one, it stays there. If it sticks on the old screen, you need to take it off as you do for this one, and put it here in this corner, and make sure this proximity sensor goes exactly inside. So now we have the microphone here, the top microphone. This microphone here is responsible for recording the audio or recording videos, or when you are like making making the calls through the speaker, not through the earpiece. So now I connect. I'm just gonna disconnect this one to show you what I did. So we have here small prong, an extension on the microphone. This extension, which I'm holding now, this extension should go inside here, inside this hole. I hope you see it clearly. I think now you see this hole here. So this go here. Okay, so that's what I'm doing now. Okay, after I make sure the microphone is in its place, what I'm gonna do, I will just flip the cable back like this, and make sure everything is flat here with no problems. Okay, so after I flip that thing back, I will take the earpiece and put it on top of here. The earpiece must be matching with the 4 connection there, the golden dots in the bottom. And we have like this is a bracket holding the earpiece. So I'm just gonna start putting this one in the back here. There is like small hole here. It's working as a hook. Make sure everything is aligned. Something wrong here, so I have to take it off and put it back again. This is the tricky part on this phone. If you don't put everything perfectly, you will have some trouble. So just focus and don't be frustrated. You will get it. Alright, so I have it put it here perfectly. So what I'm going to do now, I will just take the first screw and I put it here to hold it. I keep holding it with my finger, by the way, so it's not gonna like go off. And the last screw here. And now what I'm gonna do, I will just connect these cables as I showed you in the beginning. Make sure the cables are matching perfectly. One mistake the technicians are doing, when they connect these cables here, they keep like flipping the screen back. When they flip it, they pull the cables, and after that the screen gonna show like some lines here, and sometimes it's easy to keep like adjusting or aligning the cables and you get it fixed, but sometimes it's like very badly damaged. You have to buy a new screen. So make sure you put your finger on top of this cable, and even if you pull them, you're not gonna pull them from the stand here. You just like playing with the cables. Okay, and make sure don't, like when you connect the cables here, make sure don't flip the screen back. I'm trying to show you on the camera, and I couldn't like get the. Alright, so I'm gonna connect this cable first. If you push like this and it's not clicking, make sure you align. Don't just like push hard, because once it's matching perfectly, once you push a little push, it's gonna click. You hear the click? That means it's connected perfectly. So the same thing for this. You hear the click and another click here. Alright, so now everything is connected perfectly. So now I'm gonna take this bracket and I put it on top of these cables, and I will put the screws. Each screw go back to its specific spot. Alright, this is 1, 2. Oops, I almost lost the screw. And if you drop these screws on the floor, they are very tiny. It's very hard to find them. So make sure you be very careful to not lose any screw. Alright, so I put the screws back now. What I'm gonna do now, I will just connect this cable. I will make sure this cable is matching with its connection on the motherboard. Actually, this connection is not on the motherboard, but it's on the charging port cable. So once you have it like this, you can just use your nails or use like something like this and click it. Alright, so once you're sure it's connected perfectly, we take this bracket here and we put it on top of that cable and we snap it. Alright, so after that I will make sure to put the top side here, make sure it fits perfectly, and once it's perfectly fitted here, I will just hold it this way with this finger and I will release, and I will snap this side from here and this side from here and from here. Sometimes if the screen doesn't like snap perfectly, like in this case, you see it's still open because the frame is damaged and it's holding it, and if you push too hard you may break the screen. Alright, it's connected perfectly now. So what I'm going to do now, I will put the two bottom screws here. Alright, so as you see, the video talks from me like 25 minutes, but if I'm doing it by myself without giving any instruction, this takes from me like 10 minutes maximum. If there is like sound difficulties, maybe like 15 minutes maximum. Alright, so the screen is working perfectly. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this video is helpful for you. If it's helpful for you, please don't hesitate to like the video, like this or like this, and leave your comments in the bottom, in the comment zone, if you have any questions. And also don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day.